welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm Bruce Anthony, your host here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that are shaping today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch our video podcast. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's the Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Aundrea. We're going to be dilly-dallying a little bit. Then we're going to be talking about them Southern Baptists. And then Millennials versus Gen Z. I don't know. But we're going to get to it in a minute. But that's enough of this intro. Let's get to the show. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
I can't call it, but I can call it.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah, I can't
All right.
call it. I had a very, very interesting thing that happened to me yesterday. Two things that were
Okay.
very, very interesting to happen to me yesterday. First thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for those people that have been following the show, they know that I live outside of DC. Like I am 4 miles from the Pentagon, right? I'm 5 miles from Washington, DC. And I've been going a lot into the Pentagon area for work and meetings and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I don't have a car because I don't need a car in this area.
Yeah, you really don't in the DMV.
And I'm always drinking, so I don't drink and drive. So there's really no point for me to have a car. You can just Uber everywhere.
Right.
But for these meetings, it's pointless for me to pay the $10, $15 for an Uber because in my city, there's a free bus that takes me right to the Pentagon, right?
Oh.
So I can hop on the bus anytime I want. I need to go to the Pentagon area, and it runs every 10 minutes, every day,
Mm-hmm.
and it's absolutely free. And I used to be too bougie to ride the bus, but not anymore.
I'm never too bougie for free transportation. Come on now.
That's what I had to come to the reconciliation. It's like, it's free transportation, Bruce. Like,
Yeah.
wow, you're not doing it. So I'm going to catch the bus yesterday, and I sit down at the bus stop, and there's this older, we're going to say white gentleman.
Okay.
I'm not real sure what his nationality is, but he's more white than anything else.
Okay.
For whatever that means.
Right.
So
I
I'm
don't
sitting
know.
there. I'd be, he's not a person of color.
Okay. So
I
he's
know
white.
that much. Well,
It's
he's white,
bad
but
to say people are white.
no. But you know how I feel about the definition of white.
Yes.
I
But
just have complications.
society
with-
defines race. and-
Society does define race. We're
Yes.
not going to get into that, but you're absolutely right. So anyways, I'm at the bus stop sitting next to this white man.
Mhm.
And he says, you see that woman sitting across the street? And it's a young black woman sitting in her car across the street. I was like, yeah.
Mhm.
He says she went over to the projects and bought weed and came back over here and smoked it in her car. And I was like, oh, excuse me, sir. I live in an area that is,
Affluent. And no projects.
Oh, there's an area of apartment and townhouses. There's a little community that is lower income.
Right,
is
but
lower income.
But low income is not the project.
Not the project. And when I say low income, ladies and gentlemen, these are still working class people. This is
Right.
I don't, there might be, but I don't believe there's people like that are on welfare and on Medicaid. There could be. It could be.
Right.
But
right.
the likelihood of it, not that high. Okay. So
Right.
it's just a poorer part of the place that I live than where I actually live, which is a high-rise building.
Yeah.
That they say luxury, but I got my own issues with this building. It ain't so luxury to me. But once again,
Right.
I'm a little bougie. So the guy says to the projects, and I was like, ain't no projects around here. There's no project. He's like, well, she went over there.
Sir, why are you talking to me? Second of all, sir, how do you know this? Third of all, sir, shut up.
So that was the first thing. I was like, why are you talking to me right now? I'm not giving off the energy of let's have a conversation. I'm giving off the energy of it's hot as hell outside. I'm just waiting for this bus because I just took a shower. I got the shower sweats, and the sweat from my bald head is dripping down my eyeball mixing in with my moisturizer and stinging my
Yeah.
eyes. It's not a good
Yeah.
situation,
It's
right?
not great. Yeah.
It's not great. It's not ideal.
Yeah.
So this guy's telling me, he's like, yeah, she went over to projects and she came over here and she parked in that park space and she's smoking weed. Why don't you smoke it over there in the projects when you got it? And it's like, it's against the law. And I was like, it's not against the law. But then I thought about it. I was like, she's not buying weed from a dispensary. So technically that is
How
against
does
the law.
know she did not get it from a dispensary?
This story gets even crazier. So
Okay.
I'm getting annoyed with him because I'm being me. So I'm contradicting what he's saying. First of all, there's no projects. First of all, weed is decriminalized, so it's okay. I don't understand what the big deal is. He's like, but you can smell it. I was like, I cannot smell it. Like, I can't smell it. And I have a sensitive nose. I was like, you make it a big deal. I'm just going to sit here. That's what I told him. I was like, I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah.
So I turned and I'm not talking to him. And then there's this another dude, a brother, that gets dropped off by, I'm going to assume his woman, because he says, okay, baby, I'm going to catch you later. And, you know, I do have female friends, but I don't say, hey, baby, I'm going to catch you later. So I'm going to assume that that's his partner, right?
I think that's
He's
safe.
got a backpack with him, right? And he's just trying to get himself together, getting ready to catch the bus just like the rest of them, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 buses that are supposedly coming on this route. The first bus that comes is not my bus, but we're going to call him Mr. Unique. Okay. Mr. Unique is getting on that bus. For those people that are listening, Mr. Unique is the guy that was talking to me about the projects, okay? He gets on the bus. The bus takes off. I'm sitting down. The dude that got out of the car with his woman, we're going to say baby man. And baby man gets out of the car and he sits
You're
next
bad
to me.
at that, by the way. I would have called him Project Pat. And no scrubs, because he was riding in the passenger side of his girl's ride. That's what I would have named him. But you do your names.
No, that's better. Project Pat and no scrubs. Okay, those are really good names. Okay, I'm gonna take. That's very creative of you. All right. So no scrubs is like not sitting next to me, but like he's getting in his bag and like he's getting himself together. The bus that Project Pat got on stops in the middle of the street. Project Pat gets off the bus, starts yelling, my bag, my bag. He runs up to No Scrubs. Is like, what are you doing trying to take my bag? No Scrubs is like, what are you talking about? This is my bag. Project Pat tries to yank the bag away from No Scrubs. No Scrubs is like, yeah, get off of me. Swap. What are you doing? They are tussling in the street, going back and forth,
Lord,
yelling and screaming. Okay. No Scrubs is saying, my bag. What are you doing? Get that
because
off
it
me.
is.
Get off of me. This is my bag. And Project Pat is saying, no, you're trying to steal my bag. You're trying to steal my bag. Finally, in a fit of clarity, Project Pat says, oh, that's not my bag. I'm sorry about that. Me at the bus stop. Oh, man, now I done missed my bus. And I said, yeah, because you're getting off the bus looking for bags. It's not yours. So he goes, Project Pat goes walking down the street. And I look at No Scrubs and he says to me, hey, man, I'm sorry about that. And I said, man, you ain't got nothing to be sorry about.
Yeah,
that was crazy. That was nuts.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, what was wrong with that guy? He was like, I think he has some mental problems. I was like, I don't think. I know he does.
Yeah, that's clear. Because my man got up, had the bus driver stop the bus middle of the street.
Middle of the street.
Ran off but he had already put his little money in the thing to get on the bus. Because I assume
No. Remember, the bus is free.
Oh, both buses are free. Not just
all
the
the buses that ride in my neighborhood, that ride in my city is free. The buses in my city are free.
Now, that don't make no damn sense. And I'm going to come back to that. Y'all should be paying for the bus. If anybody,
we do in our taxes.
Should be paying.
We do with our taxes.
Okay. Well, then if you're paying for the bus with your take that bus. I don't know why you was acting like you couldn't take no bus.
And I am taking the bus.
Okay.
But it had to, the only reason why I started taking the bus is because my supposedly luxury building took away my free shuttle that came along with me living here. And they did it basically in the middle of the night and just said the next day, shuttle service is done. So we're like, what? Wait a minute. But anyway, go ahead and say what you was going to talk about with Project Pat and No Scrub?
Now, my question is, what were you doing while they
When
were
I was
tussling?
with chuckling in my
Because
head.
like No Scrubs know that is not Project Pat's bag.
I think I said out loud, "Hey man, that's not your bag." I think I said something, but they was tussling. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I was a little shocked by everything. It's been a little while.
No, I get that.
It's been a little while since I've been through some ghetto. This is my one cuss word for today. It's been a little while since I've been involved in some ghetto shit. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was a little taken aback. Dare I say, clutching my pearls.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah, I would have been. I would have been. Because I'd have been like, I know this. The one time I decided to take the damn bus. And here y'all go, acting up. I used to be an avid bus rider, and the things that you see on public transportation, the bus and the train, the things that you see on public transportation. I told you about the time I was taking the train back from Queens, heading back into Manhattan, and there was a homeless, unhoused gentleman on there trying to get money for some chicken. And he started making a song about all the ways in which he enjoys his chicken. He liked fried chicken. He liked baked chicken. He liked chicken. He liked chicken. He liked chicken legs. He liked chicken thigh. And I love chicken. And then he started singing about how the percentage of hunger that he had. He said, I'm 99% hungry. I had to go. Everybody's acting like this man is not there because it's New York, Everybody's acting like this man is not there. I say, I gotta give this is creative, and I gotta give this man some money so he can go get himself some chicken the way he wants. Does he want a chicken sandwich, chicken salad? Okay, you want chicken nuggets, chicken tenders, however you want it, sir.
Oh,
you gonna get it today. And I get that man $10.
Hey, look, he got himself some chicken.
He got himself he got himself some crack, but that's fine.
No,
because it might have.
You don't know that.
You don't know you're hungry after that.
I think well, I don't know. I've never smoked crack, so I don't know.
I don't either. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm sure somebody in the audience, if any of y'all are former or current crack users, please tell us, do you realize you're hungry after you smoked the crack?
Oh, this dude, Project Pat, had to be smoking the crack because, good God.
And then worried about somebody smoking weed.
Right. He had to be on something. You want to know what's crazy? I had a bag with me. I just had it on me. Like I was literally wearing my backpack as opposed to the man had his backpack on the bench. And I thought to myself, if this dude had charged me, what would I have done? And the dude was young. The dude was, I say young, younger than I am, right? But still in his 30s. He looks like he's in his 30s. And he's struggling with the dude. And shout out to Project Pat, because he wasn't a young man. Project Pat was older, at least 50. Okay.
I mean, not shout out to him, but
he wasn't letting go.
He wasn't even holding on. Well, let me tell you something. Ain't no strength like crazy strength.
Crazy strength, baby strength.
Baby strength. You ever seen a baby hold on or something? They get a hold of your earring or something. You can't get that little fist off of that earring. It's the same with crazy strength.
Right. Yeah.
That man got a grip on that bag, and he wasn't gonna let go until his crazy ass remembered. He never had a bag.
He was shaking and screaming, "That's my bag. You're trying to take my bag." And in the same breath, "Oh, wait a minute. That's not my bag. I'm sorry.
That ain't my granddaddy watch."
Ladies and gentlemen, that's from the movie Life. If you don't know, I can't help you with that. So that was one story of my crazy day. This is the second story. And I told you about this, but you probably forgot already. because I told
I
you last
don't have
night.
I don't have a great memory. No.
Yeah,
And if it occurred prior to me going to sleep, no, I don't remember it.
okay. So I told the whole story on a previous podcast, my commute back from your place in April, how I was flying. Should I name the airline? No. We're just
It'll be
gonna
enough when you
yeah.
describe it that people
Yeah.
will get the general idea.
I was flying an airline and my original flight was supposed to take off at 1.
Mhm.
It was delayed an hour, then another hour, then another hour, then another hour. I finally
And affordable airline wing. Y'all
the
get it.
delays. I'm already at the airport. They tell us it's a delay right after we're supposed to board. So the time for us boarding has already passed, and then they say,
Right.
"Oh, the flight's been delayed." And the only reason why people knew is because I had downloaded the app, and the
Mhm.
app told me before we got any emails. So anyway, they pushed the flight back, and we didn't leave. We were supposed to leave at 1. We didn't leave until 5 or 6. I didn't get
Okay.
into, and it's an hour and a half flight. I didn't get into Baltimore until like 7. I didn't get home that night until like 8:30. It was a long, long day. To
Yeah.
accommodate us for the fact that the flight was delayed, they gave us a voucher to use for
Okay.
future flights. And it was the cost of that flight. And I was like, okay, I can use this for my flight back down to Atlanta for your 40th birthday party. So I was like, cool.
Sounds good.
I was like, you know what? It's only enough for one flight. So I'm going to buy my flight back. And because I found a good deal on another airline for my flight back in August. So I went on to the Voucher website,
Okay.
the airline that gave me the voucher. I went on the website, found a great flight that was very cheap. And I said, oh, I can upgrade. So I upgraded to the maximum because it was still cleared
Yeah.
under the voucher.
Yeah.
I go to click purchase and enter in the voucher number. And the voucher number says available balance is like $9. Now, the voucher is at least 10 times that much, right? The
Yeah.
amount
Yeah.
that they gave me is at least 10 times that much, but they say it's only $9 that's available. So I'm reading through the voucher and I'm like, I don't understand this. Why is this only $9 available? So I go back to the voucher and the voucher says, voucher is good for the cost of the flight, does
Yeah.
not include tax, fees, seats, bags. I said,
Oh, so I
okay.
don't pay for nothing. Okay.
Right. So I go back to what the flight was. The flight was $29. So I done told everybody what airline that was. All right.
It
Without
ain't but
saying
one or two. Yeah.
it. The flight was $29,
Mhm.
but the airfare was only $9. The tax and fees were $20. That's the reason why I was only able to use $9 of the voucher. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, so the total value of the voucher is not what I can use because
No.
I'm not going to find a flight that equals, I will, and it will be 4 times as much because I found that. I found a flight
Yeah.
that equals what I could use for the voucher, but the flight was like $400. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend an extra $300 to use $100. And I
Yeah.
was
No.
livid. So what I did is I went back to the website for the airline that I bought my ticket home and bought my
Mhm.
ticket there. And I paid the same amount of money. Actually, I paid less for both of those tickets than I did flying the other previous airline both times.
Yeah. And my new thing is tweeting companies.
Yes, that works.
So I would just say, hey, guys, y'all gave me a voucher that ain't worth a damn.
It's
But
worth $9 or 10.
Well, here's the thing. The fee, that's y'all's fee. It's your voucher and it's y'all's fee. I get the tax and there's I think some other fee that I think is like a government fee or something like that. But the rest of it, that's y'all's. This is your voucher, your fees. I'm paying. I can't even buy my seat.
Can't buy the seats, can't use for the bags. So
This ain't a Greyhound,
right.
okay? It's not. I need the seat. It's your seat. You're charging me for the seat. I want to use the voucher you gave me
Right.
to pay for the seat that I'm paying you for. This is why I hate everything. Because it don't make no damn sense. We live in such a don't make no damn, none of it.
Yeah.
None of it. We got a story coming up. Don't make no damn sense.
It really don't make no sense.
These are your fees. This
Your
check
fees.
bag fee, that's your fee.
Yeah.
You are charging me the $35 or $50 or whatever it is for the check bag.
Mhm.
That's your fee. Let me cover it with the voucher that you get. Or how about this? Don't give me a voucher, since it's clearly worth nothing, and hand me it in cash.
What?
Give me it in cash.
What? Yes.
Because, excuse me?
So now I realize what this company does just with their ticket prices. The reason why they're so cheap is because they're like, nah, since we control the fees, we're going to say the airfare is real cheap.
Yeah.
But you got to pay for not only your seat. Well, the airfare does include the seat. I didn't have to upgrade.
Right. Okay. But you thought you had the space to do so because you had this voucher.
It don't have first class, but it's kind of first class.
Right. It's not anything like it. If you've been in first class, you'll know. But it's not anything like it. But it's close you get on that airline.
On that airline, they might give me some free ginger ale. Maybe, if I'm lucky.
Maybe.
Or they might just give me a discount on the ginger ale that they're already going to charge me for.
The voucher don't even cover refreshments on the flight?
It might. The voucher might cover.
And
actually, how would you use the voucher on the flight? Because you got to use your credit card. You got to use your credit card. So would you go print out?
I would have a screenshot of that voucher and the voucher number, and I say, you figure it out. I would hand you my phone and say, you figure out how to get me that ginger ale using what I just showed you on my phone. Man, we can't do that. Listen to me now. You represent this airline. You are this airline to me.
Right.
And I'm saying this is your voucher, and that's your beverage that you try to charge me, and I want to use this voucher on that beverage. So I'm showing you this. You figure it out.
Figure it out. Make it work.
Go into the galley. Talk to whoever you need to talk to. You can talk to the pilot. For all I care, he can radio down to the tower. I don't care. Hear it out.
You gonna cause a scene and be barred from this airline.
It's an airline that's known for people causing scenes. So I'm not that.
Actually, this airline isn't known for that. Not this airline. The airline that you're thinking of.
Then that's the other one that I'm thinking of.
It's the other one. It's the other one.
Two, ladies and gentlemen. All the other ones, JetBlue, all that, I think they all out of business.
No, JetBlue is still in business. Yeah, they do shorter flights, but they're still in business. They're still holding it down. Yeah. Yeah, because I have a friend that's in New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they told me that Southwest and JetBlue are the best flights to get to DC from Albuquerque. But that's my craziness. That was just yesterday. That was everything that happened. Well, it wasn't everything that happened yesterday. That's just the two top crazy things that happened yesterday. But there was something crazy that happened yesterday as well that I saw, but you sent me the article and these Southern Baptists, that's all I'm going to say, but I'm going to let you lead the conversation right after this break. All right, Jay, these Southern Baptists. So the Southern Baptist Convention, the largest denomination of Protestant Christians in the U.S., recently voted to oppose the use of in vitro fertilization during their annual meeting. Okay, so why? They believe in personhood. Southern Baptists believe that personhood begins at the moment of conception. They are opposed to willfully destruction or even donating to scientific experimentation of non-implanted human embryos created in the typical IVF process. Jay, do you want me to go down each one of those and then let you dig into them? Or do you want me to just read these off and then just let you dig into them individually?
No, let's go step by step.
Okay, step by step. So the belief in personhood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense.
No, it
What
doesn't.
okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. And that's the point. It doesn't. So it's the whole argument, the anti-abortion argument, right? That
Mhm.
these embryos are people. Here's how you know that that's not the case. If I put a person in a freezer, they would freeze to death and they would die. But if you put an embryo in the freezer, that's how you keep it alive. So that's how you know that an embryo is not a person. It doesn't have a brain or a heart. It's just not a person.
Doesn't have any organs.
That's it's a clump of cells. So that's already dumb. But you have to understand, these are not medical doctors making this decision. These are just ill-informed or uninformed randos. They're just randos.
Well,
but again, they're not making a decision. They're incorporating this into their, their personal constitution. Like, this has no impact politically, this vote. It does in the sense that anyone trying to garner votes from the Southern Baptist Convention knows that, okay, this is how far they're willing to go in terms of anti-abortion and anti-IVF, anti-science. Let's call it what it is. Anti-science, right? This is how far they're willing to go. And if I want to garner their votes, that's how far I have to go, right? So and you already have Trump talking about how I walk side by side with you, right? So they tried it in Alabama, saying that embryos were people. And they realized, oh, wait, the babies we want so bad, the white babies they want so bad. Yeah, if people can't have them, if people can't have them, and then you're cutting off their access to medical support that could allow them to have children. That's the classic textbook definition of a backfire, right? And they had to go and they had to backtrack and put protections in place for IVF. So this idea of an embryo being a person, this is people who don't have any medical degrees that are saying this. So you could take that with a grain of salt.
Well, I just want to clarify. The Southern Baptist Convention in 1995 denounced their previous incarnation that were for slavery and for segregation. So it's not just white babies. They just want Southern Baptist Convention babies.
No, they want white babies. And we can say that. That's the truth. They want
I don't know if that's the truth. I got to push back. There's some black people. There's a lot of black people in Southern Baptist.
There's a concern that they won't exist in several decades. All right? There's a concern. And they have all these theories, right?
Yeah, the replacement theory.
Right. Yeah. So they want
This is the reason why they're fighting immigration so much. Yeah, it's the reason why they're fighting immigration so much. This is because of the great replacement theory is that
they don't care about Black babies. They don't care about Latino babies. They don't care about Asian babies.
Well, there's some Black and some Latino and Asian people in the Southern Baptist Convention. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
there's some in there.
Cults attract all kinds. We saw that. We see it in every cult. They attract all kinds. And if you just look up the definition of what a cult is, I'm not saying this is one, but it's cultish.
Okay, let's go on to another one of the reasons why they came to this conclusion. They have embryo concerns. A significant issue for the delegates was the creation of multiple embryos through the IVF process, some of all of which may not ultimately be implanted.
Correct.
IVF often involves creating multiple embryos, as not all embryos may be viable.
That is
So
correct.
they're like, basically in layman's terms, they're like, look, y'all creating all these embryos to try and create these babies, but some of them are not viable. But we think that they're a person and y'all are just discarding them. So we don't agree with that. That's a concern for us.
No, they're not even considering the fact that some of them are not viable. What they're saying is that they exist at all, that they exist, and they are not being used, they're being discarded, and that's akin to murder. Okay. First of all, that's partially true. There are people who donate their embryos to other couples who could not do not have viable embryos on their own, right? For whatever reason. So embryos can be donated, but it's true, they do make a lot of embryos in the hopes that one will attach. Like one will be viable, one will attach. It's literally a gamble. It's such a gamble, and you increase your odds of conceiving by trying to make embryos, right? And trying to make viable ones. But again, these embryos, not people. They're not people.
You miss all the shots you don't take.
Exactly. But if you're entering into this discussion with the idea that embryos have personhood, you're never going to convince that person. You're never going to convince that person. So, yeah, I mean, a little bit of this is us preaching to the choir, but because they're already operating from a place of, I want to say idiocy, but a misinformation, or they're uninformed, right?
Okay,
or the information that they're getting is misinformation, right? The information that they're receiving from either what's being communicated to them by leadership in Southern Baptist Convention, or that they're getting from different quote unquote news sources. I did the air quotes for anybody who's listening. Quote unquote news sources that are giving them this information that is, again, not coming from medical doctors or people that work in the fertility field. You're already operating from a place where you're not going to be receptive to the truth, and you're going to make decisions that you shouldn't be making. That's all I got to say about that.
Next up, government involvement. The CBC urged its members to advocate for government to restrain actions inconsistent with the dignity and the value of every human being, which necessarily involves frozen embryonic human beings. That's what they said. They're frozen embryonic human beings.
Again.
Just that's the only response to that one is no.
First of all, the government don't have no business being in my private medical decisions, period.
Well,
I don't care.
The government loves being in private medical decisions.
Yeah. So that's
a problem from the jump, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so do these kinds of Christians. They love it. They love it. And it's funny because the photo in the Washington Post that accompanies the story is just a bunch of white men who will never be pregnant, who yes, they themselves can experience infertility. They themselves can be infertile, but they will never experience pregnancy.
Nope.
And they're not medical doctors.
Nope.
They're not even women. They don't have no business in this conversation. The government doesn't have any business in this conversation. These are private medical concerns, issues, procedures, processes that's between me and my healthcare professional.
Well, what do you say? Because the counter argument, I already see it on YouTube. The counter argument is going to be, there's a lot of women that agree with those men that are on that picture.
You know how we say not all skin folk is kinfolk?
That's what we say, just to let it out for the audience that don't understand what that means. Just because you come from a certain ethnic or racial group, that doesn't mean that they all identify with what you think is important to the group.
Right. Just because you're Black doesn't mean you can't be beholden and participate in the proliferation of white supremacy.
Tim Scott.
Booyah.
Byron Donalds.
Okay.
Clarence Thomas.
Yeah. Jinx 1, 2, 3. It's the same for women in the patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women and men not only participate and actively maintain patriarchy, they seek to disseminate their ideology. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you're a feminist. Just because you're a feminist doesn't mean you support all women.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're a feminist. And just because you're a feminist, this is some of my feminists out there, or people who claim to be feminists, doesn't mean that you support all women in every variation that a woman can come in every way that a woman can present. And not just that, in every way people who can conceive can present. Okay? So it's just like, also in this story, they talked about how 61% of the people in this Southern Baptist conference voted against having any type of female pastoral leadership.
Oh, yeah. They don't allow no female pastors.
61%. That was not all men.
No,
there are women in the Southern Baptist Conference who feel as though a woman cannot be a lead pastor.
Quick detour.
Okay.
We're going to get back to this, ladies and gentlemen, but I want to do a quick detour. I saw a clip of a Bill Burr stand-up, and he made a point that I think Bill Burr is brilliant. And he made a point that I was like, I never thought of it like that. Go ahead. What was you going to say?
Is Bill Burr brilliant, or does he just have a black wife?
Hey, black wife effect. So he brought up how men are being dragged because the popularity of the WNBA isn't going up. And he was like, well, wait a minute. Why does it fall on us? I don't see a lot of women in the stands. All you women love to watch is the Kardashians and the housewives and love and hip hop. You love to see women tear each other down. But when you have a bunch of women coming together as a team to accomplish a goal, you can't bring yourself to go to the game.
Right.
And he was like, why does it fall on us? Where are you guys? And I was like, you know what? He's got a point. I'm not saying he's all the way right, but he's got a point. So it's just like when Hillary Clinton was running for president and you had women at the Trump rallies, they were being asked the question, well, don't you think a woman can be president? And these were women saying, well, no, you don't know what can happen if she, has her period or something like that. Women are emotional. And these were women saying it.
Yes.
So some of the biggest haters of women, don't get me wrong, men are still top on that list, but women participate in that.
Actually, men are our biggest predator, but the biggest hater.
Okay,
is women.
That's a good distinction. That's a good distinction.
Yes.
Biggest predator. That's Jesus. Okay, let's get back to this.
Okay.
They did come up with some alternative solutions to IVF.
Oh, I'm just go ahead. I would love to see.
Although the resolution expresses grief for couples experience infertility, it encourages members to promote adoption and to consider adopting frozen embryos in order to rescue those who are eventually to be destroyed. That's good. That's, I think, is one good thing that they're doing in the height of this lunacy, because there
You
are
mean the
children,
thing that people are already doing?
well, not doing it at the rate that they should be doing, right? Like
Yeah.
they're like
Hey, why don't
adoption,
they start? Why don't they start by fostering? There are hundreds of thousands of
hundreds
children
of
in the
thousands.
foster
Yep.
care system.
Foster care. Yep.
Start with you.
They could.
Yeah,
Very
why
well
don't they
could.
start? And it
Mhm.
was 13 million people in the Southern Baptist Conference. That's a lot of kids going to good Christian homes, aren't
Good
they?
Christian homes. Good Christian homes.
What's the problem? The expense?
No, you
Is
get
it?
money for the state. You get money from the
Yeah.
state when you foster a kid.
So then what's the problem?
Oh,
Open
well,
up your Christian home.
so what is it? The truth seekers? Is that who they are? The truth bandits? They go to all these. I feel like I'm attacking Trump, but let's be honest. The Southern Baptist Convention, they are conservative Christians, so
Yeah.
they vote for conservatism, which is the
Yeah.
Republican. So they're going to vote for Trump, right?
Yeah. Yes.
By and large, not all of them. Some of them may actually truly be Christians and have a crisis of conscience and not be able to vote for Trump. But by and large,
I would love for one of them to ask Trump to spell Christ.
well, actually, Christ is really hard when you think about it.
No,
Okay.
it's not. It's literally we can spell Christmas. If you can spell Christmas, if you can spell Chris,
and with a T at the end, but it doesn't
Mhm.
seem that's right, because that sounds like Christ, not
No.
Christ.
Yeah, it's an I has several different sounds.
Yes, it does. But hooked
The
on phonics did not work for me.
I, E. There's a lot of different sounds an I can have. And Christ is one. I would like to see them. This is a man who's been married multiple times, cheated on every single wife he ever had.
Was Stormy Daniels when he was with
Melania? Yes.
Melania? Oh, okay.
Yes.
So she knows that he had
He at
unprotected
least
sex
paid
with.
her. He at least paid her off during their marriage.
Well, I will say having unprotected sex with a porn star is a lot safer than having unprotected sex with, some person off the street.
Well,
That
yeah,
is
I mean,
because
so
sex workers are constantly taking tests, STD tests. So
they have to protect themselves. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. That's not the point.
no, it's not the point. I just wanted to
There's
detail.
nothing about him that upholds any kind of Christian ideal.
He has conservative politics.
Because
You're talking about true Christian ideals.
Right.
Okay. Now, he is not Christ-like in any way.
Not even close.
People understand when we say Christ, who we're talking about?
Oh, the socialist Jew from the Middle East?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that was brown.
Yeah.
With
the brown
hair
one.
of wool,
Mm-hmm.
skin of bronze.
Yeah.
So that person.
That guy. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The one befriended people from all walks of life. That guy.
So I was saying about the truth seekers, they go around, they do these interviews at Trump rallies, and they brought up, because everybody is anti-abortion, and people would say, you can adopt the kids, and the truth seekers, I wish I can remember what their actual name was, but then they would ask them, would you adopt kids? And to every one of these people that they asked that question to, they were like, well, no, I have my own. No, they're from us. It's like, oh, so you wouldn't take a kid that is not from you.
Right.
But you expect other people to do it because you don't want this one thing. So your solution is something that you wouldn't do. Got it.
There are still hundreds of thousands of kids.
Yeah. They need homes. Like it's the
just
children.
Need a safe place.
That's the most important thing. I don't know. To people out there, I'm reaching out to you guys. I know this is a weird thing. I put my hand out like I'm actually literally reaching out.
Yeah.
The thing that we covet most in life is a safe space. A safe space to be ourselves without judgment. A safe space to be able to operate in a walk of life that can give us happiness hopefully we're not harming other people, right? Because you
Right.
got
Yeah.
people out there that don't care about harming other people, but like safety, it's a safe space, like
Yeah.
mental, emotional, physical
Yes.
safety, right?
Mhm.
Like it's what we all covet.
Yes.
Thing that we should be making sure above all else, because even people that don't want kids, even people that say they don't like kids, still all agree children should be protected.
Yes. And they
We were
aren't.
all kids one time. We were
Yeah.
all kids one time, and we know what it feels like to not feel safe, not feel
Yes.
safe mentally, not feel safe emotionally, not feel safe physically. We've
Mhm.
all been there. All of us as adults have been there.
Yes.
Why would we want to see a young, innocent child lose that light in their eye when we can help?
Because people like this don't care about the actual life of the child.
No, you're right. You ain't lying.
They don't care.
So what are the political implications of this? And you said it at the top.
Mhm.
The measure that was approved, once again, this was a measure that was approved under the Southern Baptist Convention's like guidelines of saying like, this is what we believe in as an organization, right?
Right. Right.
This measure that was approved among deep concerns that IVF is under increasing threat from the anti-abortion movement. These fears have spurred legislation at the federal level from both parties.
Mhm.
What that means is, with the Southern Baptist Convention saying, we don't agree with this,
Mhm.
all of this should be legislated. It will, from those people seeking the votes from this organization, that are courting the vote from this organization, will be put on the agenda, because it already has been,
Mhm.
for 2024 during that
Yes.
election cycle. So that's the implication. The implication, the Southern Baptist Convention knows exactly what they're doing. They know that this was just a measure that was approved upon by them, but they also know that everybody courting their vote, this is what they're going to have to be promoting in order to get their vote.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw Democrats in the House put up a bill to protect IVF nationwide, and Senate Republicans blocked it.
Mhm.
You also have, this is actually a good thing, the Supreme Court unanimously rejected a bid to curtail the access of a widely available abortion pill. So you got wins and losses on both sides, but the Southern Baptist conference. I don't know what the C stands for.
It's
The SBC.
convention. It's convention.
It is convention. Okay.
It's convention. Yeah.
There's a lot of members. Like I said, it's 13, 14 million people, a majority of which are saying this is something that's important to us. That's not going to fall on deaf ears. Again, for
Right.
people trying to court the Christian right vote, that can't fall on deaf ears. So you're going to start seeing more battles in Congress over things like this. You're going to start seeing more legislation. People try to put different legislation forward at the state and at the federal level. It's a scary time. And on a personal note, this, that I'm going to be starting my fertility journey soon.
Mm.
And it makes me very nervous to do it in the South.
Yeah, because you in the South.
I'm in the South.
You in the South.
And it's the Southern Baptist Convention. Okay?
Oh, there go Roscoe.
No, that's the other one. That's Roni.
Roni is barking?
Yes, because I didn't let her in the room because I didn't want her jingling and making noise. So she is outside the door whining and barking to get in because she can't be not next. You hear her? She's ridiculous.
Yeah,
she has to be where I'm at.
And you you got two dogs, and you about to
Yes.
introduce some children into this foray.
Yep.
In the South,
Yeah.
where the Southern Baptist Convention is running rapid.
And I want to be clear about what's also at play here. There are a lot of LGBT couples that use IVF to have children. They do not. Southern Baptist Convention does not want that.
Do they think that being gay or being part of the LGBTQ community is in the genes, is in DNA, encoded in DNA and genetics? What do they think, that more kids from the LGBTQ plus community is going to lead to more LGBTQ plus people?
I think they think that. I think they think that it's deviant behavior. I think and they shouldn't be having children. And even though I don't know the statistics on this, but I know a lot of LGBT couples that they're one of the highest demographics that do foster and adopt. So, and foster and adopt children with special needs as well. So I have some friends and they have adorable children with special needs. And yeah. So it's not just that, oh, science to have babies, we don't like it. It's not just that. It's also, oh, science to have babies, we don't like that. And also, gay people can have children now. So it's a lot, like, let's be clear about what's really behind it. It doesn't have anything to do with embryonic personhood. Okay? This is another way that religion, particularly toxic Christianity like this, is weaponized to oppress and to disenfranchise. This is another example of that. No women in leadership, pastoral positions. Really? A woman can't lead a church? Just think about that.
They've kicked out churches that have done it.
Yeah, including one I believe they reprimanded in Alexandria, Virginia.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
No, I don't go to church, but I might go to that church.
Just because they said they would be okay with having a female pastor in leadership, not just for the Sunday school or the women's Bible study. Actually, and you know who that disenfranchises the most? Black women. Because a lot of minority Baptist churches are head up by women. Most of the women in leadership positions and pastoral leadership positions, they are women of color. So just think about this in 2024, that we still have to have the conversation of whether or not women can lead. That we still have to have the conversation about whether my personal medical situation is even up for debate by people who don't have nothing to do with it. What my kids learn in school, how that's somehow now up for debate, that they can't learn anything about Black people and Black history or indigenous folks' history or anything, and they can't learn anything. Now, it's cool for us to go through it. It's cool for Ruby Bridges' little self trying to go to integrate the first school to be spit on. It's cool for her to have gone through it, but not for your kid to learn about it. The whole system is broke.
Message. All right, Jay. You wanted to talk about Millennials and Gen Z.
Yeah.
And this is going to wrap up today's episode.
Yeah.
So it all started, this conversation all started, and I'm going to let you go, Jay. This conversation all started because I'm turning 44 soon. And back in my younger years, I used to have both of my ears pierced.
Yeah.
I had both of my ears pierced right when it became a thing. Because like most dudes only had one ear pierced. I remember I came home with both ears pierced and Dad was like, "You trying to tell me something?" I'm like, "No, this is a style now. It's like you wear diamonds in both ears. I don't know about this." But
Well,
not to
just
be toxic
wait-
now, but
wait till Cameron and Dipset. It gets even
and
more
literally, yeah, because Cameron, for all of his faults, Cameron was the person that gave me the confidence to wear my favorite color, which is pink.
Pink, yes.
I love pink. You asked me this yesterday.
Mhm.
What's your favorite color? Isn't it blue or green? It used to be, and I still
Yeah.
love those colors,
Yes.
but it's actually pink. Anyway, so I decided to get my ears re-pierced because I took the earrings out years ago because I developed a keloid in one ear, which might not be a keloid. It might be an allergic reaction, but anyway. So I decided to get them both pierced, and I was wearing them before we got on the air today, just to show you what they look like.
Yeah.
And my sister would tell me if I looked foolish, and
Yes.
she was like, "No, they look good." And I was like, "Cool, I'm back in full effect." But
Yeah.
then that got you going on a rant about millennials and Gen Z. So
Yeah.
I want to just let you get into that rant because it looked like it was going to be all. It might be good. It might be.
Yeah. So listen, this started also because millennials were saying that Gen Z is aging bad. They're not aging as well as we are, right?
Mhm.
I'm not on here to bash anybody. I actually really think Gen Z is amazing. They are changing culture. They're changing culture. They're changing work culture. They're changing social culture. And we all know that the majority of change agents, especially when it comes to society, is the young. It's
And
the
they're the
youth.
smartest generation because they have more access to information and they
Yes.
are accessing that information as
Yes.
opposed to older generations that are dumb as hell. But anyway,
Yes.
continue.
The fact that, again, the PDF seems to be the bane of a boomer's existence. But it's neither here nor there. No. What I want to talk about is millennials giving Gen Z some grace because it wasn't that long. It was 10 or 20 years ago when we were their age, right? So, and we remember looking at Gen X in their 30s and 40s and thinking, y'all are old. We remember, I remember being like that. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, and that I want to get across to Gen Z. The way that time works, every year, you're going to get a year older.
Right. That's how that works.
And that's how time works. And so your comments now about people in their 30s and 40s are not going to age well when you're in your 30s and 40s.
Well, we did the same thing though.
We did the same thing. And guess what? Now that I'm in my 30s and 40s, I'm like, I don't feel that old at all. I don't feel that mature at all. Like, I thought
those are two different things I thought you was
no,
hitting on.
I mean, I don't
because my body feels old. My body,
Yeah,
I cannot do the same things I was able to do 4 years ago. Yeah.
Physically, hang back in the day, I could be out till 6, 7 in the morning, go home, shower, change my clothes, head to class. Okay.
Right.
So now hangovers last a week. So
Not a week.
yeah, they're not quick. Okay. So I get it. Yes, we are definitely not young anymore. But the thing of it is, and I think this is what young people don't understand and what they will understand when they get to our age, is that we don't want to be you if our life depends on
it. Wait a minute. What?
I would not want to go back to being a teen and a 20-year-old, 20-somethings. And I don't think most people in their 30s and 40s would. And the reason why I say that is because you become more of yourself the older you get.
Okay, that's true. Yeah.
You learn to set boundaries, but now to their credit, Gen Z is learning this stuff much earlier, which I think is what's aging. Y'all are recognizing and confronting trauma, and that takes a toll, right?
Right.
Y'all
you would think that avoiding your trauma through alcohol and drugs would age you. And it does to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But confronting it ages you a lot quicker.
Yeah. Oh, going no contact with a parent or standing up to your boss, that is some stress inducing. See, the reason why millennials look the way that we look is, one, we've been through hell. If you look at what it's been like since 1980 to today, we done been through hell, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
And we cope the best way we know how. And that is by tuning out and turning off. And that is what has kept us young.
Tuning out, turning off, and then turning up.
Yes. And that's what's kept us young. And then slowly we get around to setting boundaries and stuff like that. But the point is like, you become more of yourself. You understand more of what you like, what you love, what you'll tolerate, what you won't tolerate. You're more comfortable in your skin and standing up for yourself. I feel like I gained a better sense in myself as I got older, because I stopped caring so much about what other people thought. So, and I feel like that's so much about what youth is, because you're still trying to learn how to be an adult. And you do that by watching the people around you.
Yep.
But then you get to an age where you're just like, oh, the hell with that. I'm just going to do what I want because I ain't got that much time left. You feel like you got all the time in the world when you're young. But so my advice to Gen Z, for whatever that's worth, you didn't ask for it. I'm going to give it anyway.
The show is called Perspectives.
Unsolicited Perspectives. Be mindful that you will be us. And there is a generation behind you, Generation I, who is looking at you now thinking you're old. And that y'all don't know nothing. And the thing is, we got to stop doing this and recognize that our common enemy is boomers.
Okay, so no, I'm not going to. Yeah,
not really a joke, but
I think, okay, I think people need to recognize who they're getting their advice from. There is nothing worse than an old fool.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of old fools in the millennial generation and Gen X and then the boomers, right?
Yeah.
And Gen Z is recognizing quicker than, let's say, millennials did, of who are these old fools that we should not be listening to. And even when we did recognize an old fool saying something stupid, we didn't correct them because we felt like it was not polite to correct your elders. Whereas Gen Z is like, actually, you're completely wrong, and let me tell you why.
Right.
And I like that. Now, also, Gen Z, you need to be open to listening to an older person when they're not a fool, because we do got a little bit of knowledge, right? But I trust Gen Z to be able to look at people, size them up, and be like, all right, this is somebody that's actually got some knowledge I should listen to, and somebody that's an old fool that I shouldn't listen to, because we got some old fools in our lives.
Yeah. Millennials are not off the hook, because I see you guys baiting them on social media. I see you guys baiting Gen Z on social. Oh, we look younger than you guys. I'm 40 and I look younger than you at 25. Why are you doing that?
You're 40.
You are 40, a 40-year-old
and you Risa Tisa. Now Risa Tisa done turned it into something. But also, you listen to that Risa Tisa story, that's an old fool.
That's an old fool.
That's an old fool, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that was pretty dumb. Now she done turned around for herself. She made some deals, and she's a good storyteller. And okay,
doing
great.
Her thing. Yeah.
Doing her thing. She's still an old fool.
Yes. Yes.
So you don't want to listen to her about relationship advice.
I just don't see what's the benefit of us telling Gen Z that we're aging better than they are. What's the benefit for this? Is a young person that's trying to come into themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Don't act like you don't remember what that's like.
Mm. Kind of like my conversations about people recognizing what it was like when they were kids and wanting to be safe. Recognize what you were when you were younger. Yeah, this is a good point.
Don't forget, just because we grew up and we've got grown people problems. And
Yeah,
let
we
me
got
tell you,
grown people
grown
problems.
people problems are trash.
That's the reason why I wouldn't mind going back to being 20-something.
Oh man,
Being broke at 20 is a whole lot different than being broke at 35, 40.
That's true. That is true.
That broke was a whole different. It was like, I ain't got a whole lot of money, but I'm going to go, and they having Dollar Bud night at Santa Fe Bar.
And it was acceptable to do that. It's not acceptable to go to Dollar Bud night and you 45. That's unacceptable.
That's completely unacceptable.
That's unacceptable. And even though it's a deal and we got grown people problems and grown people financial issues, and that is a deal that we should be able to take advantage of, we can't.
We can't.
My point is, millennials need to have a little grace with this younger generation. Okay, they don't like your crew socks. Guess what? I don't either. I switched to ankle and I never looked back. They're right. Y'all get some horrible socks and lines.
Crew socks is coming back though.
No, I don't want them to. I hate it. And I see people on the street with their socks pulled up.
Yeah, the crew socks is coming back. I'm not, look, there's certain things that I'm just like, look, I don't care if that's the fashion right now. I'm not rocking that.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not going back to baggy clothes again. I like clothes that fit me. I have a pretty nice body that I work hard on. It used to be better, but it's still pretty good. I like to show it off. Yeah. I don't want to wear baggy clothes where nobody can see my cuts and builds. I don't want to go back to that.
And millennials, we just got to be honest with ourselves. I saw another article. I can't remember the publication, but I saw another article about millennials not being like on trend fashion wise. Yeah, we never were. The 80s were ugly. That was boy, it was ugly. It was ugly. The 80s were ugly.
I think every generation.
The 90s were all right to a certain extent, but we were business casual in the club.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were.
That was never fashionable. Never fashionable. It was just what we did. And we need to start owning up to some of the stuff that we did that it just wasn't cool.
Well, I think when we look back at every generation, that the fashion was like, I look at the 70s and I'm just like, no.
What was y'all doing?
Yeah, what was y'all doing? Right? Like we see pictures of our mom and dad in the 70s and it's like,
what's happening?
What was you doing? Right there in this picture. Right. And I've got personal pictures. You definitely got them.
I definitely got them. Listen, the number one person who was business casual in the club was me. If you want to know who was rocking a blazer in the club, it was your girl. If you want to know who had on flats and a big belt around my waist and a peplum top, it was your girl. I subscribed to that. I was all about the business casual in my 20s. It was ugly.
Well, sometimes you can bring stuff back and still make it work.
But we gotta like, let's have some self-reflection here. Okay. Yeah. Give these young people some grace. And young people, again, I know it feels like, because you're young, you're 24, got all the time in the world. But the way the time works is that it moves forward. Mm-hmm. So just be mindful that the things you say today, it's just like tattoos. I remember
Jay, this show is going on long, and you about to go on.
Remember, we're gonna cut.
Yeah, we're gonna cut pizza, but it was only like 2 minutes. Like this show is going long now, and I see you get ready going. I see it in your eye.
This is the last thing. This is the last thing.
About to go on another tangent.
It's the last thing.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening and watching. because this is a long ass episode, but go ahead and say what you
The
want
last
to say.
thing. I remember.
Hold on. I'm going to start this by saying, Jay, what do you want to tell the people out there? And this is going to be your want to tell the people out there. Okay.
This is gonna be it.
All right.
Yes. It's like
I already did it. Just go ahead. Tell them.
what I want to tell the people out there is your comments are like tattoos.
Okay.
A tattoo you think is cool at 18. You might not think it's cool at 38 or 48. And now you're going and trying to get laser removal and things like that. You got to be mindful that the comments you make today may not age well.
Okay, you brought it around.
Okay.
You lost me on the laser the removal.
Well, now you just
okay.
well, it's now you're trying to go back.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
And change the decision you made when you were young, or fix something you said when you were young. Okay,
you got there, and you went around. You went all the way around the block.
Because I done said some things when I was young. And I was like, that didn't age well, and that's on me.
I have everything I said. I stand on business with.
Nah, you done said some stuff when you was young. Don't make no damn sense. And
a lot of things that don't make no sense. I still stand on business about it.
No.
Because I'm an old fool.
You would slap the hell out yourself if you could.
Oh, I would slap the hell out of myself because of my toxic masculinity.
I definitely slapped the hell out of myself. Well, actually, I would have slapped the hell out of myself, but now I realize I had ADHD, so I would have just got myself some help.
Yeah, I ain't got no excuse. I ain't got no excuse.
Anyway, that's it. That's all I got to say about it for today. I just wanted to give y'all a good show full of content. So I went a little long. My ADHD is acting up, and I got hyper focus on the topic. And I just kept talking. And I'm sorry.
I guess if they didn't listen this far, they must have enjoyed it. So,
yeah.
With that being said, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holler. Whew. That was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching into it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock with will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast. But the real party is on our Patreon page. After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspectives.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you're really feeling genuine and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciated. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.
Freedom over fame, the cycle stays the same. Freedom over cycle stays the same.